Good evening and welcome back to Bearish. My good friend nephew is back from university. He's finished his trimester at university and he's back and he'll be there for a couple of months. So on the first day of his vacation, I came across some interesting news. There is a special breed of investors called as activist investors. They take a position in the company and ask for a board seat and push hard at the management and ask them to make changes, and then you can turn around the company and sell it for a profit. The most popular of this is a man called Carl Icahn, and he has a listed entity called Icahn Enterprises, which is his vehicle for doing investment. Icahn Enterprises has been a very successful company as an activist investor. Carl Icahn himself has said several times, you cannot predict what will happen to the short term in the market or even in the intermediate term. But what Icahn did by using complex positions, he decided to short this market. He shorted the broader indices, and he also shorted the specific companies. And this is before the pandemic, and when the market dropped, he did not close his positions. He waited for the Fed to give a stimulus. The Fed gave copious amount of stimulus.
Well, he didn't wait for the Fed to give a stimulus. He was waiting for lower prices.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying he didn't close it before
he didn't close it, yes.
And he waited out that period.
Yeah.
And the Fed's stimulus trickled to the middle class. The middle class decided to play stock markets across the world. The markets reversed and went back to all-time highs. And even though inflation was there for all of us to see, the Fed was saying it was transient till it became entrenched. And then Fed promised to do two things. They promised to reduce the size of the balance sheet and increase interest rates till it became markets, the inflation came under control. By the time the Fed decided to do it, the inflation had shot up to 9%. And now it's at 4.9%, I think. This is after the Fed has increased rates to 5.5 over the last 10 or 12 months. But the market has not deeply corrected. It stayed where it is.
Yeah.
Broadly, it's not corrected deeply. And he has been rolling his short positions. And in an article which came out in the Financial Times, he has admitted they might have lost about $9 billion.
He didn't admit to the number, but that's what
it looks like.
It looks like, yes.
And then the other thing is, Hindenburg did a report on him, the famous Adani Hindenburg.
Yeah.
But nobody in America is calling it a national pride that Icahn is being attacked. And after the Hindenburg report came, the price of the stock
went down by 30%.
And Carl Icahn himself put in about $4 billion to prop up the company.
Yeah.
So this is what we know. So what happened and what do you think happened? And what were lessons you think we should learn from that?
So first off, he broke the cardinal rule which Keynes had said so many decades ago. Now it's almost 80 years ago when he said it. He said, the markets remain irrational longer
than you can remain solvent.
And that's exactly what is happening with our friend Carl Icahn here, because he is now testing the market and he's saying, no, I can remain solvent longer than the market can remain irrational. Well, let's see what happens. But basically, since 2008, Carl Icahn has been hammering away at bearish positions, and in 2017 he lost some $3 billion in his bearish positions, and from 2018 till now he lost another $6 billion in his bearish positions. So that comes up to about $9 billion in net. So yes, he's made some money through his activist investing, but he's lost even more money through his bearish positions, and it nets a $3 billion loss.
The net is a $3 billion loss.
$3 billion loss in the period of 2018 till now. But before as well, he's lost money. And all of that adding up together comes up to $9 billion. The FT article has the numbers correctly if someone wants to reference it. But the idea here is that Carl Icahn has adamantly held on to positions. What differentiates George Soros from Carl Icahn is Soros knows that he can be wrong, and he also admits that he'll be the first person to come out and say, yes, I was wrong. He'll be the first person to say, I'm fallible. But Carl Icahn here is finding it very difficult. He's sat and hammered down in the same position for over 12 years, and he finds it extremely difficult to say, okay, I might have been wrong. Yes, he didn't see the federal stimulus coming in, Fed stimulus coming in and wiping him out this way, and that's okay. You can admit to the mistake, but Carl Icahn still believes that he still has bearish positions. At least that's what he said to FT in the article. He basically said that we're not going to be able to hold positions as we did before, but I still believe in the market collapse impending, and he might be vindicated. But the idea is that you'd rather survive to fight another day than to be steadfast and lose all your money and be wiped out. And what he's done is he's taken a loan from Goldman Sachs. And if there is a margin call, Carl Icahn will have to be forced to sell assets under Icahn Enterprises as well as his own personal stake in Icahn Enterprises. And on top of this, how he screwed himself even more is instead of taking an upfront dividend like everyone else, first off, the Hindenburg report basically says that Icahn Enterprises gives out more dividend than it can afford. That's one of the main points of Hindenburg. And number two, Carl Icahn basically has been taking dividend in terms of stocks. He hasn't been taking dividend completely in terms of monetary means,
Cash.
in terms of cash. Whereas other investors have been taking it in terms of cash. He said, no, you pay me in stock. So what this has meant is that with this 30% cut, Mr. Icahn has made maybe 1/3 or 1/4 of what his other peers have made in Icahn Enterprises in terms of dividend over the past 3 years. So Carl Icahn is just not having it as about now, and he personally has to sell a part of a stake in Icahn Enterprises if Goldman Sachs the loan has a margin call. So Carl Icahn himself is personally in deep trouble.
But he would have other assets.
Yeah, he has other assets, and he has enough money to tide him over. But at least when it comes to his bearish bets, he's currently in very very high
Yeah,
trouble.
but what could happen is that his reputation as a serious investor
Yeah.
could come for serious damage. So my point is this. When people ask me when you think the market is overvalued, which I've been saying, why don't you short the market?
This is exactly
This is
it.
exactly the reason why I don't want to short the market.
We end up looking like fools.
You look
because
up, you don't know when it will correct.
the long term is basically just an aggregate of short terms.
Short terms. And the problem is the Fed should have done two things. It should have also increased interest rates
Yes.
and it should have sucked the excess liquidity.
Through open market operations.
What they are doing is they are allowing their matured bonds to expire. They're not selling the bonds that they have.
Yes.
So they're not reducing the
money
size-
supply.
money supply. So the money supply has come down only by $400 billion.
Yeah.
By their original plan, by now it should be $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion
Of liquidity reduction.
liquidity reduction. That would have really got this market into a.
Yeah, it would have
would have
diminished the
tightened
prices. Yeah.
All that the Fed has achieved is private equity market does not have money,
Yes.
but public markets are floating.
But
with
private
cash.
equity market anyway was the froth on top. They've basically just taken a little bit of the froth on
Froth
top.
out. They have not tightened it to an extent where the public markets
The water level hasn't decreased itself.
enough.
Yes.
And unless the water level dips,
Yeah.
you are not going to have a major crash.
Right.
Otherwise, what the Fed is doing is basically kicking the can down the road.
Yes. And if they cut rates right now, the dam breaks.
And the market is now betting. It's like a dopamine addicted
Yeah.
rat,
Yeah.
lab rat,
Yeah.
which is basically waiting. The entire market, if I see it dispassionately, is betting that the Fed will be forced to cut rates this time.
Right.
By the time, how much ever they have said that they will not cut rates this year, the market believes they will cut
cut
rates. So I like what Bullard said. As an insurance, they should raise rates further.
Yeah.
If I were the Fed chair and data supported it, I don't mind another 0.25 increase just to shock the market. I don't think much damage will come between 5 to 5.25 to 5.25, 5.5 to 5.75.
Right.
So pushing it up will tell the market that we mean business.
Yes.
And it is inevitable that such a huge party has to have a hangover. You cannot have such a big party without a hangover.
Yeah.
If you think you have avoided a recession now, you have just kicked the can down the road for a bigger recession later.
But that's what people have been. I mean, Carl Icahn himself has been saying that there's going to be a collapse,
Yes, there is going to be, but we don't know when. But as long as the Fed keeps printing dollars and keeps giving copious liquidity, you are having a false rally because you're not really measuring inflation.
So you don't think the soft landing is ever going to occur?
No, if there is a soft landing today, the Fed will cut rates. If Fed cuts rate, the party starts again. See, I will believe the Fed if the Fed cuts rates at 2%.
What if it holds the rates at
Even that for it may be make economic sense, it may make politico-economic sense. But from a market participant, with inflation at 4.9 and still sticky, because some components are going up.
inflation has now trickled below your interest rate?
Yes,
Yeah.
but if you cut rates now,
Don't cut rates. I'm saying maintain rates.
as a purist, I would say even push it up slightly
Okay.
so that you can, because 4.9 to 3 is not going to be easy.
Then you increase the interest rate. I mean, real interest rate.
Yeah, you just have positive interest rate for the first time in 2 decades.
Yeah. And the margin is so sliver, so you can't even count that there is a positive real interest
Okay,
rate.
but
Yeah.
what is positive real interest rate? I want to tell people is interest rate minus inflation,
Yes.
and it has been minus all this time.
Yeah.
Now you are thinking of it making positive.
Yes.
Let it make it to plus 1%, and then we will see what happens.
And
That is
inflation.
interest rate minus inflation.
Yeah.
Let it be 1% for some time. Then I will accept that the Fed is serious.
Okay.
Thank you for watching this program. We hope that you enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it. Like this video, press the subscribe button. If you don't subscribe to our channel, you will miss such programs. And don't forget to tick the receive notifications. Once again, I thank you for your support for Bearish. We had a meeting in Singapore. I was very pleased with the results. Indians received me with great love and affection, and I enjoyed my time in Singapore. The meeting was a big success, and I could meet people from various walks of life. I miss going to Kuala Lumpur, which is very close to Singapore, just 4 hours drive, and I have been asked to come there. So my team decided on the 11th of June, Sunday, we would do an event in Kuala Lumpur. If you would like to meet me in Kuala Lumpur, kindly send a message at the WhatsApp number given below and or drop a mail to the mail ID given below. My team would contact you at earliest. Once again, I thank you for your support for Bearish. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.